but I think it actually lends itself to kind of defeating Lowly style, which sounds a little bit weird. You know, normally Zergs are like, oh, I love Daybreak, but think of what Lowly actually likes to do. He goes for a very tech-heavy style, and when you use tech, you're hard defending or hard attacking. But now that tech is kind of useless, Protoss can actually take advantage of that and say, well, I'm going to go ahead and macro, and because the positions are so far away from each other, you're not going to be able to use your tech aggressively, and I don't actually need to actually attack you, so you're kind of preparing for units where you don't actually need to prepare for.
Yeah, well, we'll see how things come to fruition according to Alicia's plan. Let's introduce our players in the meantime, Andre.
That's right, in the top right-hand corner, we have FXO Lowely. He was up 1-0 in this best of 3. A very surprising start, I think, to a lot of players, especially seeing how he lost his early third base to this player over here in the bottom left-hand corner. It's the red Protoss, Alicia, who is currently teamless. But I think he's considered the strong favorite going into this game. And he's a little bit startled, I would say, going into game 2.
Yeah, well, I guess Alicia wasn't expecting that, because a little backstory, Alicia picked Lowly for Season 4. We said, Alicia, you can pick people to be in your division. And he said, well, I beat Lowly so easily last season. I guess maybe it should work this season. No. Lowly has been able to at least take one game off, so it's not an easy 2-0. And map score does matter for divisional standings in NASL.
That is right. And Lowly, again, starting off with a very early spawning pool. It was after Overlord this time around, but what's important to note is that he's always getting the spawning pool so he can get this hatch rate down really, really fast. And that's just part of Lowly's style. He doesn't like to be pylon blocked over here. So when he gets his spawning pool out super early, he can get Zerglings, and making that pylon seems really, really silly since the pylon's going to go down so fast. Meantime, we do have a Forge and then Nexus. Most likely a cannon goes down. He's going to put down the gateway. So a very standard opening from Alicia. You're welcome.
On Daybreak, Stargate is still really popular. Perhaps Alicia really wants to redo his transition out of Stargate, although I feel like it can't get any better than last game, Andre. Whenever you open Stargate and you kill the third, you feel like, yes! This is mine, you know, like 2 base against 2 base is good, then you move to 3 base versus 3 base and you feel like you have an advantage. But Lowly, those rules don't apply to him. He is going to get up a very early gas yet again, but even earlier than last game. Andre, in game number 1, the gas was finished up around 4:30, so he can get Zergling speed. This is 4 minutes and the gas is already going.
That's right, and most likely we can see some sort of really, really heavy aggression because of that. There's no reason to actually get faster metabolic boost on this map. So when I actually see this, I'm thinking some sort of maybe Roach pressure, Roach Zergling pressure, or even something like a Zergling Baneling bust. I think Roach pressure is slightly worse just because of how far this map is, but again, we can see Lowly actually, or excuse me, Alicia going to the mid right-hand position, checking for the third base, seeing there's no third base, and saying, okay, I have to yet again prepare for some either 2 base all-in or 2 base tech. Yeah,
some players keep the drone there to kind of fake the scout out, but in any scenario now, Alicia knows his opponent that 415 hatchery is severely delayed. So let's see how Alicia approaches the situation. Now he has his first zealot out, probably get a stalker, but what is he going to choose as his tech choice right after everything has been settled? Metabolic boost has already been started researching, but again, Lowly keeping drones on gas. Andre, I'll be very surprised if Lowly tries to play macro from here.
Me too. I mean, normally we get metabolic boost out super early just to defend against a lot of like full gate pressure or any sort of gateway pressure, because just having that presence on the map disables those pylons from being put up. Obviously, you can reap the benefits from having such a delayed reinforcement from the Protoss. But the fact of the matter is, he hasn't really chosen anything, and wow, it's a super fast lair.
This is a lair at the 6-minute mark.
Wow.
Is he gonna 2-base Muta or something?
It could be 2-base Muta.
Because he's quad gassing.
Yeah, it could be something like something of TLO's build. Like you get super fast
drop.
Yeah, drop and speed. But who knows? It could be just super fast infestors saying, okay, well, your Stargate pressure came really, really early. Let me get infestors a little bit earlier, and I can defend my third better.
Yeah, Alicia going for Stargate once again. Another safe route in terms of map control. Lowly has a lot of overlords spread out too, so that's going to be nice for Alicia if you can find them. First Void Ray is on the way, which is also kind of interesting in itself. A lot of Protoss players kind of have faded away from using a Void Ray and just go for Phoenixes directly. Nonetheless, we do see Lowely's third base has been infiltrated, but there's no real base for the Zealot and Stalker to recon. So looks like the Stalker immediately gets surrounded. A great job there by Lowely to really catch those units. While he's getting up his Bayonets and Evocators, he's doing the same exact build from last game on here, except he's doing everything a little bit earlier. Earlier gas, earlier lair. Earlier infestation phase. So
that does mean he won't be able to take his third base nearly as fast as last game, because remember, he's committing more drones to gas a little bit earlier. So you can see 8 minutes coming down and we still don't have a hatchery up. He's still struggling for those minerals that he can't really get. Infestation pit, as you said, is coming up here, and we're going to have super fast infestors, but see if they're going to be that relevant still, because this Void Ray Phoenix play comes out so early. You can see the third base still is not down. Spore Crawler's on the way up, but is it going to really matter? The third base is so delayed. Even though you get the fast infestation pit, yes, you might be able to shut this down, but it's still coming at the cost of the third base, which isn't even made this game.
Man, Lowely just sends back the drone as if he wants to go for kind of like that old school's early infestor timing on the Protoss third base. Although, I'm actually very curious to see where Lowely goes from this. He's dropping a macro hatchery instead of one of his third. I think he realizes he can't defend the third base.
Yeah, I agree with that. And what he'll probably do after he cleans up this Phoenix Void Ray pressure is double expand. That seems most reasonable. He's getting his good queen count up and making sure he won't be susceptible to any of these different pressure builds. But I think Lowely is doing this absolutely right. The third base for Protoss isn't even down yet. But do we have some sort of robo switch? Yes, we do. Immortals on the way out. The Robotics Bay on the way out right now. So I agree with everything Alicia is doing. I mean, he's defending against all possibilities pretty nicely, getting the Immortals out in case it is some sort of roach switch, which would be crazy. He's getting the Colossus out, which defends against Infestors pretty reasonably until, Corruptors come out. And from there, he should be able to take his third at a pretty nice time relative to his opponent's third. You can see this third 10 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. We finally have the third base going down of Zerg.
Just starting.
That's a really, really tough third base. I mean, you're really relegating your composition to Zergling Infestor. That's it. You can't even incorporate not Stargate, Spire play.
Well, Lowely does have, his upgrades, again, starting very early, and that will come to play. Plus 2 banelings are very nice against the He hasn't really shown any signs of drop play thus far. Alicia can take this notion to expand, while you see Zerg take a very late third base. He says, well, I guess I don't have to attack. My advantage is in the ability to attack there. Nice little wall off there. Get out through. But at the same time, it gives a chance for the Zerg to deny the probe. So nice little tit for tat. Good trade.
That's all right. And you know what? To be honest, we might actually see some sort of all-in from here. Just 2 base straight up. You're massing up in a lot of Colossus. You have 6 gateways. It's a pretty reasonable attack. You even have Phoenixes to sort of disable a lot of the Infestors and commit that energy elsewhere instead of the main army. So there's a lot of potential, I think, for this 2 base pressure, or maybe even a fake 2 base pressure to actually work. Very easy to actually cancel or even keep this up and go for the pressure just because you have a great composition. But we'll see. Alicia is amassing a good deal of units. You can see the second Colossus already finished, and Thermal Lance about to finish in a little bit here. 4th base is going down from Lowly. I think you need to start this a little bit earlier, seeing as his economy is just so far behind. But we'll see how he actually intercepts this upcoming pressure.
Yeah, the good old Queen Investor 4th base. Oh, there's 5 Phoenixes.
And look, he's baiting the Fungals, Frodan.
Oh yeah, so doesn't have to deal with it later. He picks up the Queens as well to make sure to, be able to guarantee picking them off.
Oh wow, that's so smart.
4th base is going to be as all for naught. The Phoenix is picking them up as well. Every Infestor you take down is just such a powerful win for the Protoss army. This is such a weird ragtag army from Protoss. Just a few Sentries, a few Zealots, a few Stalkers, and 1 Colossus. But Alicia has gained so much ground from this.
That's definitely right. And look at this going on, adding additional gateways, but not really probing up. You can see only 1 probe in queue. That means he's really investing in this attack. I love this attack. It seems really weird to not really saturate your third base, but it great force yield this time around.
Wall by Alicia, and the Banelings have to wait at least 20 in-game seconds to really do anything. One of the Colossus opens the gate, but Alicia baits it yet again. Has to be very cautious, though. He only has a few force fields left. He actually only has one left. So he needs to be very, very careful of how he approaches, because if the fungals land, then that's it. Then the units have to withstand all the pressure. The Banes are going straight into it, but there's 3 Colossus now.
Too much.
2 Colossus came during that entire reinforcement push. Lowly supply is dropping. Zerglings are dying upon hatching. And the corruptor count is so low, it doesn't matter. Here comes one last effort. Everything's pumped up. Emergency force fields are thrown. The surround from the Zerglings are not going to be enough. Alicia's supply is looking so healthy. And Lowly's drones all trying to find one zealot. Or, I mean, this is like a Justin Bieber concert, man, where everyone's just surrounding one thing. You ever see that when Justin Bieber got surrounded by a bunch of girls? They all like trying to touch him. He's like, oh. That was that one zealot.
I'm sorry for that.
Not that I've been to.
I don't watch Justin Bieber concerts.
Hey man,
bro.
I think his voice has gotten a lot better since he's actually starting to do it. Banelings are rolling in, trying to do their last bits of DPS, but the Queens are the real source of damage that can't do anything. GG gets called out, and Alicia ties it up with great spontaneous decision making. And I love Alicia's new look, man. It reminds me a lot of Select.
Yeah. Really well put together, I think. That build, if we look back on it, you can see the pressure to delay the third base really relegates the gas input for the composition. It's really infestors that you have to focus on, because obviously you don't want to die to, you know, just a pack of Void Rays and Phoenixes. Like, it could get really, really sour very fast. So when you do that and you get really fast Colossus, you don't have the ability to actually make too many Corruptors. And when you deny that third base for so long, it says, now you definitely can't make a lot of Corruptors. You get the third base and bait the fourth base to come out there, and, you know, Zerg tends to not make the right composition. Maybe over-make Infestors to really empower those Colossus. After that, you do this fake 2.5 base push. Your Colossus are really empowered. You can actually lift up the Infestors to disable as much fungal and infested Terrans as possible, and then you go in for the kill. It's just like really, really intelligently done and works to the weaknesses of Lowly.
Yep, and it works perfectly in this scenario, but we'll see what happens in game number 3. That game was brought to you by Squarespace. For all your website needs, if you want to build a website for your own startup or resume, use Squarespace. NASL.tv/P/Squarespace for a limited time special offer. When we come back to game number 3, the decider, Andre, who's going to take the series between Lowly and Alicia? We'll find out, so don't go anywhere. Alicia versus Lowly, game number 3, right after this.